Boom! What is going on, Rise and Thrivers? I'm so excited. Welcome to this week's book review. This week's book is a very special book, and I am so excited to share it with you. It is called Find Your Why, and it's written by Simon Sinek and the team that he has created in his organization. And I love this book, and the reason why is because it is built off of Simon Sinek's philosophies of life. Right? And essentially, Simon Sinek, if you don't know who he is, I definitely recommend that you do your homework and check him out because you'll be blown away by his message. And if you do know who he is, I mean, you're going to love this book because this book dives into his principles and you get practical steps to actually discovering your own why, which is why this book is called Find Your Why. Now, Simon Sinek, for those of you who don't know, he's been somebody who essentially has gone in back into time, back into history, and looked at the most influential people and companies of our time. And in this period of time, essentially what he did was he looked at why their message was so effective. What was it about their message that caused there to be a huge audience, a massive following, a massive influence from their message? What was it? How did they deliver their message? How did they go about presenting their case to the world so that the world would openly accept what their message was and believe in their vision for change, right? And he found this golden principle called the golden circle. Right? Now, the golden circle is broken into three parts. Essentially, there are three ways for you to communicate your message, right? You can communicate your what. So what is it essentially that you do, right? What is it that you do, right? You can communicate your how. How do you do what you do? Okay, so how do you go about doing what you do? And then you can communicate your why. Why do you do what you do? Now, based on Simon Sinek's research, essentially the most effective and most powerful way to start your communication is by starting with your why, right? And this principle, if you go back into history, he's done the research with Apple, Martin Luther King, and other philanthropists, and their message always starts with why. Why are they doing what they're doing? And then it goes into the how. How are they doing what they're doing? And what exactly are they doing? Okay. Now, I know when I first discovered this was kind of backwards, right? Being in marketing, being in sales, and being a business owner myself, right? I've always been caught up on explaining what it is that I do, right? So somebody asks, what do you do? Right? Even though that's the direct question, what do you do? Right? I always dive into the what, right? List the facts, all about the facts. Now, what makes Simon Sinek's golden circle so powerful is that it actually aligns with our natural human brain and the way that we actually reason and how our brain operates. So there are two parts to our brain that respond to the three parts of the golden circle. Now, the first part is called essentially the limbic system. Now, the limbic system, some people call it the old brain, some people call it the reptilian brain, but essentially, this is the part of the brain that controls our innate desires, our emotions, our feelings. Okay, if you ever feel like you have like a sense or a hunch, right? Like you have that hunch, like you sometimes you just say that, ooh, I just had a feeling, I just had a gut feeling, right? That comes from the limbic part of the brain. Right? Now, essentially, that part is all strictly based on emotions and is based on your survival, right? And essentially, that's what controls your actions, right? At its core, that's what controls your actions, the limbic part of the brain. Now, the newer part of the brain, which is called the neocortex, is where logic lies, right? So this is where logic and math and 1 plus 1 and 2 plus 2 actually lies in the neocortex of the brain. Now, what also lies in this part of the brain is language. This is why a lot of the times people find it hard to express their emotions. They find it hard to express their feelings of love and compassion. They find it hard to express their feelings of frustration and anger. They find it hard to express their feelings because language is in a completely different section of the brain than emotions. Right? And so because of that, there is always this disconnect and this back and forth that happens. Now, Simon Sinek really dives into how if you are able to first communicate your why, you're able to essentially influence the limbic part of the brain of individuals. And this is huge. This is powerful because you're speaking to the core. You're speaking to the innate man who actually resides in that person, in that human being. And it's such a phenomenal philosophy because he actually takes you through the steps, and he talks about in discovering your why, there are two things you need to think about: your contribution as well as your impact. So what are you really looking to contribute to society? What are you looking to contribute? How are you going to give to society? And what is the impact that is going to have on society? Okay. And if you start with that communication, essentially what will happen is you will be able to speak to the limbic part of the brain of all individuals that are around. And if they resonate and vibe with your message, if they are your target audience, if they are the individuals that you are looking for, if they are individuals who believe in that message, in your message, because it speaks to them, for them, essentially they will be somebody who's enthusiastic and will love you and will become essentially a raving fanatic and an advocate for you and your brand, right? And so Simon Sinek takes you through the step by step. And so he has a section for those who are individuals, right, where you sit down with a partner. And I love it because the core principle of discovering your why is about going back into the past, recalling memories, recalling stories, recalling experiences that you've had in the past, good or bad, right? Because regardless of what you have experienced in life, essentially there are golden nuggets, there are golden gems, there's a stream of gold that connects all these memories together, and that is the reason why it's influenced you to be who you are today. And so by going back, and I love it because I'm a person of context. I love understanding the history of something, someone, a company, because it really puts things into perspective for me, right? And so by going back, and if you're a company, or he calls it your tribe, right? If you're a tribe, right, you have your group of people that you're surrounded with, who's your pack, who essentially are working together for one common goal. It's the same thing, right? You go back into the past, you look at the experiences that this company has allowed you to have. What has this company done for you? What memories do you have of this company? And you compile these together and you find the common stream of gold that essentially links these stories together in relation to the contribution and impact that you have on the community and that you look to have. Essentially, you are able to discover your why. And once you discover your why, he actually essentially tells you to pick your top two, right? Once you go through the memories and you discover essentially the big impacts that molded you to be who you are, right? The things that you stand for, the themes, he calls it, in your life. Once you find the top two, right, the rest now break down into becoming your how. Right? So this whole exercise is about speaking to the limbic system. And I love it because if you're somebody who's entrepreneurial, if you're somebody who's driven, if you're somebody who has big dreams, this is huge because we are all about communicating an effective message, being able to communicate effectively, to be able to create momentum, to be able to move people, to be able to inspire, to ignite, to relay compassion and drive so that people can reach forward and chase their dreams and do what it is that they love, right? And so I love it because this book really resonates with this message. And so if you're somebody who is interested in finding out how to get your hands on this book, we actually have a way for you to listen to this book for free for 30 days. We have partnered with Audible, and I love it because Audible is a phenomenal company. They're doing some amazing things within the community. And so we've partnered up with Audible to be essentially give you 30 days for free. You can get a 30-day free trial where you can listen to this book for 30 days. After 30 days, you will be charged a monthly fee, and you can decide what package you want to go with. And you'll get access to hundreds of books, thousands of books, and an archive that will forever change your life. And so guys, I highly recommend that if you're looking to get this book, if you want your 30-day free trial, definitely click in the description below and you will be able to access your direct link to our special offer with Audible. So guys, I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to next week's book review. It's going to be an amazing one. I hope you guys enjoyed this one.